My name is John Abdul. I welcome you to Map Reading Made Easy. The topic we are going to look at today is scale. Scale. We shall be looking at the different types of scale and how they are used. What is scale? Scale is the ratio between measurements on the map and that of the actual ground. Scale tries to compare two measurements. One, the map. Two, the actual ground from where the map was drawn. So scale is the ratio between measurements on the map and that of the actual ground. We have three types of scales, and you must be conversant with each of them. They are statement of scale, the representative fraction, that is the RF, and the linear scale. So let's start from the first one, statement of scale. Statement of scale. This is expressing the scale in words. When we express the scale in words, e.g., 1 centimeter represents 1 kilometer. 1 centimeter represents 1 kilometer. It means every 1 centimeter you measure on your map represents 1 kilometer on the actual ground. 1 centimeter you measure on your map represents 1 kilometer on the actual ground from where the map was drawn. Note that statement of scale can be anything. It can be anything. You can have 2 centimeters represent 1 kilometer. You are making a statement. It can be 10 feet represent 1 kilometer. You are comparing the measurement on the map with that of the actual ground. Number 2, we have representative fraction. That is the RF. Here, the scale is represented as a ratio or as a fraction. As a ratio or as a fraction. For example, 1:50,000 or 1/50,000. In this case, it means 1 centimeter you measure on your map represents 50,000 centimeters on the actual ground. 1 centimeter you measure on your map represents 50,000 centimeters on the actual ground. If you have 1/100,000, it means every 1 centimeter on the map represents 100,000 centimeters on the actual ground. Note that in representative fraction, the numerator must always be 1. The numerator must always be 1. So if you have something like 2/50,000 or 2:50,000, it means it's the same thing as 1/25,000 or 1:25,000. 25,000. All you need to do is to what? Cancel the numerator and the denominator by 2, and you get half of 50,000. This is very clear. Make sure you reduce the numerator. Always reduce the numerator to 1, as we have seen in this example. Now, the third type of scale is the linear scale. Some people call it the line scale. Here, the scale is represented by a line, as shown in the diagram. Can you see? Can you see? Look at the line diagram. This is an example of a linear scale. Each division is 1 centimeter, which represents 1 kilometer. If you use a ruler and measure from 0 to 1, you will get 1 centimeter. Thus, the line AB, which is 7 centimeter on paper, represents 7 kilometers on the actual ground. That means every 1 centimeter you measure on your map represents 1 kilometer on the actual ground. Very simple. Very, very simple. Look at another example. If you use a ruler and measure from 0 to 1, you get 2 centimeters. So this one means 2 centimeters represent 1 kilometer. It means every 2 centimeters you measure on the map represents 1 kilometer on the actual ground. Every 2 centimeters you measure on your map represents 1 kilometer on the actual ground. In our next lesson, we shall look at conversion of scales. That is, how to convert one scale to another. So make sure you don't miss my next lesson. Until I come away, I remain John Abdul. Stay safe and be blessed.